Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Silversun here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review on Mob Psycho Season 2, Episode 8. Alright, so this episode actually starts off in a pretty wholesome place to where we see Mob and Ritsu as little kids chasing after this toy airplane that they have, and their family's having a picnic. And while they're chasing after it, Mob falls, scrapes his knee, and as his mom's tending to his wound, he pretty much starts crying about it. And then that's when all the food and everything starts floating up because of his psychic powers. Reach is obviously amazed, and then the airplane flies up into the sky like an actual airplane. And then we get into the real episode, which is Ma pretty much trying to attend this marathon that they have at school to try and impress Tsubomi and finally, ask her out. So Masato, I believe that's her name, pretty much asks Mob to come onto the roof during lunch, and pretty much Mob's up there, and she pretty much confesses that there's this religious group centered around him. He has a whole bunch of fans and whatnot, and it's that helmet, that psychic helmet cult thing that she was talking about, and basically he has to win this thing because there's gonna be a lot of like people watching him and supporting him on it and whatnot, and she needs to make sure he's ready for it. And then he's like, "No, I'm just entering it just to impress Tsubomi and whatnot." But he was actually thinking of doing it next year before they go off to high school and whatnot. But the thing about it is that he's not able to because it's only for this year, and so pretty much he's gonna have to like pretty much train for like a whole week to even qualify. Like he was gonna try to get into the top 10 to impress Tsubomi in the marathon next year, but that's not gonna happen. So that's pretty much his goal right now is to get up there, rise through the ranks and whatnot. And his friends are definitely there to help him. Ritsu helps him out at home, doing his chores for him and whatnot, so he could spend time to practice. Even Reagan actually helps him. He tells him to take the week off, even though his calendar is like booked and he has a whole bunch of appointments going on. He still goes out of his way to help Mob, and that's some really good character development. Because just last episode, obviously, we saw that Reagan pretty much changed for the better and whatnot, and they both need each other. And now Reagan's putting that into effect here and helping Mob out in his goals and what he wants to do to better himself in life. So yeah, I like that little character moment right there. Really helps shine some new light on Reagan. But yeah, pretty much it's both of them just training. A nice little montage there. Even some of the kids at school, like Onigawara, we haven't seen him in a minute. He pretty much gives Mob his running shoes, and it was just made for a joke because he bought the wrong size, so that's why he gave it to him because it wasn't gonna fit him anyways. But it was still pretty nice just to see him like come around and just like motivate him for a sec or two. But basically, the time has come and Mob's pretty much ready for the marathon. Well, ready, quote unquote. You'll see in a sec. But before all that, I gotta mention this a little bit with Teru and Ritsu pretty much filling in for Mob at Reagan's business. They're pretty much like filling in for him while he's out training and whatnot. And while they're there, pretty much Tsubomi, along with a friend of hers, pretty much steps in seeking relationship advice, and Reagan's obviously there to give it to them. And all the while, Ritsu's pretty much hiding because no one was expecting. Well, I wasn't expecting this at least. I'm sure maybe like a few manga readers were definitely like they know ahead of time and stuff like that. So yeah, they know what's going on. But I was surprised myself. And so basically, they're sitting down at the chairs, pretty much talking and whatnot. And as they're talking, Tsubomi's pretty much trailing off, looking around the office, and she notices all these photos of like clients he's worked with and whatnot. And obviously, one of the photos in that group is Mob and Reagan, and she pretty much notices that. And so after she notices, she pretty much goes on to tell Reagan her relationship issues, and she pretty much makes this up in saying that there's this guy she's into that goes to a different school, and what she could do to you know get with him and whatnot, because she pretty much said like, oh, he seems kind of into me, but I don't know if I should make the first move or if I should just wait or whatever the case may be. And Reagan's just like, no, you should make the first move. If he really does like you, then he'll be happy about it that you did and stuff like that. And so pretty much they take their leave, and Ritsu's just sitting there like, oh no, like I can't tell brother Ritz, I can't tell brother Shigeo about this, because it would just break him right then and there. to figure out that she's into someone else and not him. But after that, Sabrina pretty much tells her friend that nah, it was just a lie. She didn't want to get scammed by Reagan, so she just made up that story to see if his advice would actually ring true, and it did for her at least. And it seems like she's actually in the mob because during the marathon race, uh, mob's pretty much there. Everyone's there. Everyone's ready. Even Emmy's there. I don't know if I'm showing like an image right now or not, but she's actually in the background and whatnot. I mean, she doesn't really do anything. I kind of wish she like, encouraged mom a bit or anything like that. But it's still nice to see her, uh, you know, in a recent episode. I don't think we've seen like anything of her since the first episode, so it's nice to see her at least make a little cameo this time around, along with Teru. Well, I mean, Teru made a cameo like last episode or whenever, but it's nice to see him, out and about, like helping out and stuff like that again. But in any case, the marathon's here. Everybody's ready to go, and the gun sounds and they're pretty much off. And obviously, the Body Improvement Club is way up in front because those guys are like titans in this thing. And so basically, Mob's running and he actually gets tripped up a bit. He falls down. Ritsu looks back quite similarly to how they were as kids and whatnot. When he fell, he looked back. He's like, "Oh, you okay, brother?" and whatnot. But it doesn't seem like he's okay at all because he stands up and he cut his knee, so he's like bleeding and stuff. But he continues onward still, and after everything's said and done, it seems Shigeya passed out like halfway through the race, so obviously he didn't win it. But when he woke up, his teacher was pretty much just telling him, like, oh, you really changed a lot and whatnot. I'm proud of you, basically. And even his parents were supporting him. They were there too, supporting him throughout the race and whatnot. Took time off of work to go and see them race. And actually, Ritsu scored in the top 10, not Mob. So that was pretty cool. And that was like the first thing he even said. He was like, "Oh, Ritsu scored really high up. That's good." He was happy for that. And back at home, everybody was, you know, real happy for Mob, and his mom was gonna make them something good for dinner, to congratulate them. But but before any of that could happen, someone's at the door, and so Ritsu goes to answer it. And here I'm thinking, oh, it's probably gonna be Mob himself. That's what Ritsu thought it was gonna be. Or better yet, it could have been Tsubomi, maybe looking for Mob or something of the sort. But Mob wasn't at home at the moment. He was on his way back home. But pretty much, Ritsu opens the door and it's Shio that's at the door. The psychic kid from last season. Yeah, he's pretty much here. And he's just standing there at the front door talking to Ritsu. And his mom comes by and she's wondering if it's a friend of his. But it's definitely not. And so pretty much Ritsu's wondering why he's there. And then that's when it jump cuts to Mob walking home, but before he could even get there, he sees some smoke out in the distance. And when he finally arrives home, his house is all on fire. Everything's destroyed. And the neighbors are pretty much just outside, just like wondering what happened. Like, oh, I hope they're alright and everything of the sort. And so, pretty much, Mob takes it upon himself to walk right in to the flames and everything. He goes inside and he's looking around, trying to reassure himself that, that everything's gonna be okay. This is a setback, but as long as they have each other, everything will turn out all right and whatnot. And then so he pretty much gets upstairs, doesn't see anything yet, but then Dimple comes up and he's telling him that that there was a struggle at the front door, and that someone else must have did this, someone else must have broken in and did all this. And Mob's just thinking like, oh, okay, so they might have been captured or something of the sort. We gotta look for clues. And before he could even find anything, he sees something that I don't want to believe is his family, but he turns the door and he opens it, and he's just stuck. He's frozen. He sees burnt, what looks to be burnt corpses all on the ground and everything, flames and everywhere, and he just snaps at that point. He's done. He's just gone not even 1,000. Like he went mystery mode this time, and he was just broken. He was shattered, and rightfully so, because that was like, I don't think they're gonna go that route with this series. I mean, yeah, they've dealt with some pretty dark themes. Very recently, the Mogami arc and whatnot, that was pretty dark, but I don't think they'd go as far as to kill the guy's parents, like especially and family and Ritsu and all that other stuff, because the guy just got like it was so lighthearted from the beginning, and then just to pull this on us at the last minute, this cliffhanger ending, that's just like wow. I don't even think it would go that far. I feel like they probably just got captured and there's just some sort of illusion or some sort of something similar that looks like his family, but it's not. It's got to be fake. I don't believe that it's all true, and that Shell actually killed his family in order to just get his revenge or to get a rise out of him or whatever the case may be. It had to have been something else. They had to have did something else. But it was still a shock nonetheless. I never thought that this would have happened, especially in this episode. I thought that was just gonna be him talking to Tsubomi, trying to confess himself to her or something of the sort by the end of it, but that didn't happen, at least not yet. And this was quite a surprise for me, as well as a few other episodes before this one. This show definitely has a tendency to trick me into believing that one thing's gonna happen and then the next thing sort of happens. So it's pretty much all over the place at this point, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I want to see if Mob's like even going to be able to calm down from this, or if he's just going to go haywire and just start destroying everything in the vicinity. Who knows? But we'll just have to wait till next week to find out. So yeah, just tell me your guys' thoughts down below. What did you guys think of this episode? What did you think of the ending? And what did you guys think of my review? So yeah, that's pretty much it for this review, guys. Until the next one, Silver Sun is out.